Much warmer today with highs in the 50s, but is there a possibility these warmer temperatures could continue as Santa comes to town? I'll have the answer coming up.
Thanks, Emily. Also tonight, beware. Fraudsters are targeting seasonal shoppers. We'll hear from the Better Business Bureau coming up. Nationally, a business jet with 6 people on board crashes in North Carolina, erupting in a large fire. We'll have the latest on the incident and more on the plane's connection to NASCAR. This is News Watch. Your Thursday's edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
Well, just when we started to enjoy temperatures in the 50s, the bottom drops out. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Williamson. Emily Davis is back in the Weather Center to talk about a cold night that could produce some snowflakes. Good evening, Emily.
Good evening. There is a slight possibility as we move overnight to see some flurries, but this will not accumulate to anything as we move overnight tonight. But throughout the daytime today, we saw high temperatures in the 50s across the entire viewing area. A high temperature of 52 degrees here in Charleston, 55 in Robinson and Terre Haute. But as we look here in the background, we saw rain earlier today and continuing in still parts of our area now. But as we move overnight tonight, we're going to see those temperatures drop down into the 20s, a low temperature of 22 degrees. And since we're dropping below freezing, that rain does have a possibility of turning into snow as we move overnight tonight. Although unlikely, we are going to be seeing just a few flurries as we move overnight tonight. We are also going to be placed under a wind advisory that's been put in place and will last until midnight, and that's because we're seeing winds blowing out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's the first look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Emily. A local law enforcement agency is mourning the death of one of their own. The Edgar County Sheriff's Office says Deputy Jordan Neal died Wednesday afternoon. The Sheriff's Office says Deputy Neal was not on duty at the time of his death, but they are not releasing additional details. They say Neal had served almost 2 years with the Sheriff's Office and previously served with the Indiana State University Police in Terre Haute. A Taylorville man is in jail after a stabbing Sunday. Taylorville police say they arrested 19-year-old Jacob Gray after the victim of that stabbing identified him as the attacker. Court records show Gray is charged with burglary and aggravated domestic battery. At a hearing Tuesday, a judge denied Gray pretrial release, citing prior threats and acts of violence and mental health concerns. Gray is due back in court Monday for a pretrial hearing. One person is hospitalized after a house fire in Lovington. Lovington Fire Chief Gary Smith says the fire happened early Monday morning at 401 West State Street. He says a family was home and inside when the fire started. Smith says everyone got out, but a young woman suffered burns on her hands and was taken to the hospital. Lovington was assisted by 5 other departments. Smith says the house was fully engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived on scene. He says the structure is considered a total loss and an official cause hasn't been released, but it could be electrical in nature.
The holiday shopping season is here, and with it comes a warning from the Better Business Bureau. The BBB says to stay on high alert for scammers this time of year. Officials report Americans lost more than $12 billion due to fraud in 2024, with cases spiking over the holidays. They say that increase is mainly driven by imposter scams, fake online deals, and delivery fraud, all targeting shoppers looking for deals.
We've seen a big spike in delivery scams. We classify those together because what people are doing is sending text saying, I'm trying to deliver a package to your house and I can't get a hold of you. Will you respond with your address or confirm your social security number? They're trying to get any information they can out of the homeowner when there is no gift.
Officials say scammers come up with new ways every year to steal your money and personal info. The BBB warns shoppers to stay on high alert for fake charities, AI scams, and suspicious text messages. And if you're not getting packages delivered, be prepared for crowded stores this Saturday. An annual survey by the National Retail Federation found a record 158.9 million people are expected to shop before Christmas on the day known as Super Saturday. That number is up to more than 1 million from last year and beats the record that was set in 2022. The survey also finds 70% of people plan to shop the week immediately after Christmas.
And if you're shopping around for one of those last minted pennies, you're out of luck. These historic pieces of copper are definitely worth more than their weight in gold. According to the auction company Stack's Bowers Galleries, the last pennies to ever be minted in the U.S. just sold for more than $16 million. More than 230 of these packages were sold for an average of $72,000 each. Also up for grabs, a set of 3 pennies, including a 2025 penny, a 24-karat gold penny from the Philadelphia Mint, and a 2025 D penny from the Denver Mint. The auction took place a month after the U.S. Mint stopped making the penny due to cost inefficiency. And the Powerball's jackpot is getting close to its highest of the year. Nobody won the big prize last night, so it's estimated the pot will grow to $1.5 billion for tomorrow's drawing. The record for the year is close to $1.79 billion. Still, a single winner would be way more money because that jackpot was split between 2 tickets. Well, no matter how big the pot gets, the odds of winning are staying the same, a staggering 1 out of 292 million.
Illinois students could soon get a jump start on college at no extra cost. The University of Illinois is offering general education courses to high school students starting next year. Students can choose from 4 classes taught at select high schools as a part of the Dual Credit Learning Accelerator. Courses include Killer Skies Astro Disaster, Intro to Popular TV and Movies, Culture of Disability, and Data Science Discovery. Officials say Rantoul is one of the high schools already signed on to participate in the upcoming school year. In other education news tonight, Illinois Education Superintendent Tony Sanders is cautioning school officials not to expect big funding increases next year. Capital News Illinois reports Sanders told the State Board of Education this week there will be a lot of competition for increased funding while state revenues are expected to remain flat. K-12 education spending is expected to total more than $11 billion this year, or about 1/5 of the entire state general revenue fund budget. Sanders will present an official budget plan on the board in its January meeting. That plan will be delivered to Governor J.B. Pritzker, who will present its overall state budget to the legislature in February.
Decatur Fire announces a promotion, and it's a first for the department. Tina German Roberts becomes the first female captain in the department's history. Now, Roberts has an extensive resume with the station. She's worked as a paramedic, dive team member, and commander for the Honor Guard. She's also the American Heart Association site coordinator for the department. In this role, Roberts instructs the advanced emergency medical classes and organizes the certification programs. Well, lace up your sneakers for a fun and healthy activity New Year's Day. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources is encouraging people to ring in 2026 with a first-day hike at an Illinois state park. The department is hosting self-guided hikes at 17 parks across the state, including Eagle Creek and Wolf Creek parks in Shelby County, Fox Ridge and Coles, and Lincoln Trail State Park in Clark County. The parks will have stickers and special photo opportunities for hikers. IDNR Director Natalie Phelps-Finney says there's no better way to clear your mind after the holidays than to explore the outdoors. And if you got outside today, you got wet and windblown.
But on the flip side, temperatures did reach 50 today for a brief period. We're back to winter-like conditions tonight, and I'll have the full Skywatch forecast coming up.
A recent fall commencement ceremony in Ohio was headlined with a dose of snuggly star power. Yep, the ceremony's guest of honor was a cat, but not just any cat. Pudge, Bowling Green State University's beloved football mascot turned viral star. After the team's long snapper, George Carlson, brought Pudge to the locker room to cheer up an injured teammate, the interwebs did what they do, catapulting this fine feline into the organization's most well-known figure. And that's saying something, considering the team's coach is former All-Pro NFL running back Eddie George, for crying out loud. Well, rare. Before you knew it, Pudge's precious paunchy puss was everywhere, from national news media to silly swaggy merch. You gotta be kidding me. But all good things must come to an end, and along with his graduating owner, Pudge is now moving on. So university officials gave him a teeny tiny cap and gown and a bittersweet goodbye. Speaking of unexpected surprises, that's what shoppers in Pennsylvania are jockeying for at a holiday market booth gone viral for offering unclaimed mystery packages for sale. According to WPVI, organizers buy up the undelivered items from retailers, so instead of going into a landfill, for between $10 and $40, these still wrapped mystery parcels can find a new owner. But here's the catch. You don't know what's in the package until it's bought, and customers say the not knowing is half the fun. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Rod.
Temperatures were in the 50s today, which is much warmer than what we have been seeing, but as we look nationally, we're starting to see a cold front begin to make its way through Illinois, causing our temperatures to drop down, and we can see that here locally too. Our temperatures have now dropped down into the 40s as our current temperatures, 30s in Paris with temperatures now currently around 39 degrees. And we're still seeing rainfall in parts of our viewing area, but as we move throughout the daytime today, we saw high temperatures in the 50s, but that rain that we saw move through today did accumulate to around 3/10 of an inch here in Charleston, 4/10 in Decatur and Taylorville, and right around or just above a half an inch over in Taylorville. And we saw that rain earlier today across Eastern's campus. This photo was taken around 2:30, and that rain was not falling hard, but falling consistently as we moved into the late afternoon hours. But throughout the morning hours, we did see a high temperature in the 50s, a high temperature of 52 degrees here in Charleston. And we got up to the mid-50s in Terre Haute and Robinson with high temperature of 55 degrees. But as we move overnight tonight, we're going to see those winter-like conditions come back, and we're going to be seeing those temperatures drop back below freezing with a low temperature of 22 degrees overnight tonight underneath mostly cloudy skies. And we're also going to be placed under a wind advisory as we move overnight tonight. That wind advisory has been put in place and will last until midnight tonight, and that's because we're seeing winds blowing out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Once again, we're under a wind advisory currently, which is why we've been seeing these windy and gusty winds throughout the daytime today, and this will last until midnight tonight. And we're going to be seeing winds gusting up to 30 and possibly up to 40 miles per hour as we move overnight tonight, and eventually this will clear up as we move into the morning hours tomorrow. But we're also seeing some rain still beginning to fall currently in parts of the viewing area, but you'll notice here some pink beginning to pop up because as those temperatures drop down below freezing, there is still a possibility for some of this rain to turn to snow as we move overnight tonight, but this will not accumulate too much because our surface is still pretty warm from the daytime today, and it will not stick because that surface is warm. But we'll see that rain or that precipitation move off to the east, leaving us with mostly cloudy skies to start off our daytime tomorrow. But those clouds will clear as we move throughout the daytime, eventually leaving us with mostly clear skies by the late afternoon. But those clear sunny skies will not warm up our temperature by much because we're going to see a high temperature back below freezing, a high temperature of 30 degrees for your Friday, and those stronger winds still staying with us a little bit in the morning, winds blowing out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour, and eventually by noon 10 to 15 miles per hour. So still a little windy in the morning hours, but the winds will be a lot less strong than what we're going to be seeing overnight tonight. We're going to be seeing those mostly cloudy skies to start off our daytime tomorrow. Eventually those clouds will clear up as we move throughout the daytime, leaving us with clear skies by our evening on Friday. But then those clouds will return as we move into the weekend. Partly cloudy skies on Saturday, but temperatures will warm back up again with a high temperature of 45 degrees on Saturday. But that won't last for very long because as we finish off the weekend, we're going to see temperatures drop back down into the 30s, a high temperature of just 33 degrees on that first day of winter on Sunday. But starting off the work week, we're going to stay in the low 30s, high temperature of 34 degrees on Monday under mostly cloudy skies. but you're going to see that that cold air move over top of us. Saturday, we still have some warmer air over top of us, leaving us in the 50s. But as we move into Sunday, some colder air will move over top of us, moving down from Canada. That will cool off our temperatures as we finish off our weekend. Now, another reason why we're seeing this cool down is because of our upper level jet stream. You'll see here on Saturday, we are in sort of a zonal pattern, which is causing consistently warmer temperatures. But as we move into Sunday, those temperatures will drop down because a trough of colder air will move over top of us. But we're going to see temperatures consistently be above average as we look at the next 6 to 10 days. That's a look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Well, thanks, Emily. Topping tonight's National Watch, 7 people are dead after a small plane crashes in Statesville, North Carolina. Retired NASCAR driver and Hall of Fame nominee Greg Biffle and his wife Christina and their children Ryder and Emma are among the casualties. The other 3 on board were identified as Dennis Dutton, his son Jack, and Craig Woodsworth. The Federal Aviation Administration says the Cessna C-550 crashed while trying to land at Statesville Regional Airport. Preliminary flight tracking data from FlightAware shows the private jet took off from the airport, flew 5 miles, then made a sharp left turn back to the airport. The FBI announces a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest in the Brown University mass shooting. The public is being asked to look at photos and video of the suspect and share the images on social media. The search for the shooter is in its 6th day. Authorities say 2 students were killed and 9 others wounded in the Saturday attack. They say while the university has 1,200 cameras on campus, the shooting was in an older classroom. The motive remains a mystery, and police haven't found evidence to suggest someone was targeted. Pope Leo makes his most significant appointment to the church in the United States since his election. He's chosen a new Archbishop of New York. The Pope has appointed 58-year-old Bishop Ronald Hicks, who's currently the Bishop of Joliet, Illinois. Hicks has first-hand experience in Latin American countries such as Mexico and El Salvador. He will succeed Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who turned 75 earlier this year. That's the age when bishops are required to offer their resignation. Well, time to check the sports headlines, and here with the latest is Matthew Posner.
Thanks, Matt. We know the Pope loves Chicago sports, and the hometown Bulls played a 4-quarter thriller last night against the top Eastern Conference rival. We'll have the highlights next. And they may not play until Saturday, but the Chicago Bears are topping headlines after a fascinating press release from the team's president. Thanks for watching. Your Sports Watch Report is coming up right after this on WEIU.
From cocktails to cakes, cookies, and candy, if you tend to overdo it over the holidays, you're not alone. Registered dietitian Sherry Gaw with El Camino Health says stay heart healthy this holiday season by prioritizing balanced meals during the day. She says not to eat less to save calories before an event or go to a party hungry. Instead, Goss says to eat a healthy snack before you go to a get-together, something that will give you protein, healthy fats, and fiber, like yogurt and some fruit and nuts. Next, prioritize healthy food choices. At a party, scan the table before loading up a plate. Watch your intake of alcohol and sugary drinks. They're empty calories.
Drink a glass of water in between each sugary beverage or alcoholic beverage so that it can help us slow down, drink less, and also that water that we're drinking, that can also help fill our stomach too.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Eastern Illinois basketball looks to get 2 wins on the record tonight as both the women's and men's teams host SIU Edwardsville. The women's game tipped off at 3 p.m. and an impressive fight by the 1-10 Panthers sends this game to overtime. Moments ago in OT, Eastern center Abby Bootlier landed hard on her right knee and had to be carried off the floor. This game goes to double overtime, but SIUE makes crucial shots late and wins 59-52, moving EIU to 1-11. As for the men's squad, they get a tough test against the Cougars, who won the Ohio Valley Conference Championship last season. It's been a rocky start to 2025-26 for the Panthers, who sit at 2-8 on the campaign. Once we're done here at Newswatch, head over to 88.9 FM to listen to the men's game live on WEIU Hitmix. Speaking of returning to action, the Indiana State men's basketball team will have a familiar face back on the bench this evening. Sycamores head coach Matthew Graves returns tonight after stepping away 2 months ago to have triple bypass surgery. Coach Graves will serve the team in a limited role until he's fully cleared. Graves makes his return at a perfect time for the Sycamores as they open up Missouri Valley Conference play tonight at 7 in the Holman Center against the Bradley Braves. ISU took down the Milwaukee Panthers 70-68 in their most recent outing, with Camp Wagner notching a team-high 18 points in the victory. The Indiana State women started strong in their conference opener against Drake, but things quickly unraveled. ISU led by 3 after the first quarter and stayed within 6 points at halftime. The third quarter, however, was a completely different story. The Bulldogs outscored the Sycamores 34-12, and this one ends with a 97-77 Drake win. Despite the loss, ISU's Tierney Kelsey scored 18 points, followed by Kayla Smith's 11. Head coach Mark Mitchell says his team needs to give a better effort on defense.
There's certain things that I express to our team that we can't allow. And then we come out and give them 34 points. So that's on us. That's us. We got to get back in the gym. And defensively, we got a lot of work to do.
Indiana State now heads to the Cherokee Invitational on Sunday and will start playoff against Michigan State and will face either Old Dominion or Ole Miss on Monday. It's a lot warmer here today in East Central Illinois, but there's still some ice in St. Louis for some Blues hockey. Can they pick up a win against the Winnipeg Jets? We skip to the second period, where a bad clear-out attempt by Jets star goalie Connor Hellebuck leads to a thunderous goal for Justin Falk, and the Blues take the lead. And as they say in Looney Tunes, that's all, folks. Nobody else scores a goal in this one, thanks to a brilliant evening by St. Louis goalie Joel Hofer. And the Blues fly past the Jets 1-0. They're back in action tonight at 7 against the New York Rangers, and so are the Chicago Blackhawks, who take on the Canadiens in just a few minutes. Bulls fans have been seeing a lot of red recently in the loss column, and it doesn't get any easier with the Cleveland Cavaliers coming to town. Near the end of the first, Jalen Smith says, "Look out below," as he soars to the hoop to give the Bulls the lead. If you're looking for a new poster in your room this holiday season, then Jared Allen is a gift for you. Allen destroys Zach Collins on this dunk. Then Donovan Mitchell takes over, draining 2 key buckets before absolutely slamming it down. And the Cavs are inching closer to the lead. But then the Bulls decide it's time for a 3-point party, with Nikola Vucevic, Kevin Huerter, and Josh Giddey each dropping one in to seal the deal. Chicago gets a much-needed win and upsets Cleveland 127-111. For all you Bears fans out there, how does the Gary Bears sound? Not loving it? You sure? Well, it might just happen. Team President Kevin Warren has expressed frustration with Cook County, saying its efforts to secure public funding for an enclosed stadium in the county have stalled. As a result, the Bears say they're mulling a move to Northwest Indiana and leaving the state of Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker says a Bears move to Indiana is a slap in the face to all their fans. Warren insists the team still prefers to build a new stadium at the Arlington Heights site, says the team is not using the threat to cross state lines as leverage. The Bears sit at 10-4 on the season, ahead of a monster matchup with the Green Bay Packers on Saturday. Staying in the NFL for our final story tonight, former 4th overall pick Anthony Richardson returned to practice today for the Indianapolis Colts, joining Phillip Rivers in the quarterback room. Head coach Shane Steichen says the team is sticking with Grandpa Rivers on Monday Night Football against the 49ers in a game they have to win. And that'll do it for Sports Watch this evening. Take it away, Matt.
All right, thanks, Matthew. And finally tonight, if you're looking for a place to move, Ottawa, Kansas might not be too bad of a landing spot. The small town is rolling out the red carpet for potential new residents with a $6,000 incentive program. The money comes from a statewide program helping local communities create Please Move Here packages. Now, to qualify, applicants must be from outside the state, have a job secured before moving, and have a household income of at least $55,000. Well, I was tempted to move somewhere warm earlier this week, but today isn't so bad. A little windy though. Emily Davis is back with the final check of the Skywatch forecast.
It was certainly warm throughout the daytime today, but temperatures are going to begin to drop down as we move overnight tonight and into the next few days. But looking past that, the next 6 to 10 days, we're going to be above average for those next 6 to 10 days. That average for this time of year is typically in the upper 30s. And as we take a look at our 7-day, we're definitely going to be around that as we look at the next few days. But looking past that for our Christmas time, we're going to see temperatures much warmer, with temperatures warming up on Tuesday to 47. Christmas Eve, a high temperature of 45 degrees, and a possibility to a high temperature of 60 on your Christmas day. That's a final look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Emily. And that's a wrap for tonight's edition of Newswatch. The Skywatch forecast can be found anytime on our website at WEIU.net. And if you have a news tip for the newsroom, give us a call or send us an email. And join us again later tonight for a recap of Newswatch. BBC News The Context is next. Good night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.